Hello, hello, good people of the world. Welcome back to Zip Tips Crypto, where we are breaking down how to break free from the financial matrix that we're stuck in. Today, I'm diving into why XRP and XLM could be your ticket to massive profits in the future, and how they're just one piece of a rock solid personal financial system. Understand, I'm picking these two coins, but you could pick any crypto digital asset that you wanted. The plan that we're going to discuss is you have to have a system. You have to have a plan going into the future. We're going to use crypto to excel our wealth and produce wealth going into the future. And again, I'm picking XRP and XLM because they're two of my favorites that I hold. But remember, I hold a lot of utility cryptos. So just visualize what your platform is going to be and take the concept and then integrate it into your system, whether it be Bitcoin or something else. It doesn't matter, because you know what? The fiat system, we know it's crumbling and it's being modernized, with the US dollar losing 97% of its purchasing power since 1913. But what I'm going to show you is how to protect our wealth when it's created, grow it tax-free, and create cash flow that works for us in the future. These are concepts, these are ideas. I like to use infinite banking. We're going to talk about ETFs and more that are coming in the future. But again, you have to plan that now. Now is the time. So stick around, because this game plan can absolutely secure your financial future. So let's get into it, and let's discuss what this revolution is going to look like in the future. So again, the US dollar has lost every year due to inflation 90%, 97% of its current value from where it was in 1913. We can feel it. We see the economic signs. That means your traditional savings, your 401ks, or cash that you're just stuffing under a mattress is losing value. It's worth pennies compared to what it was a century ago, a year ago, months ago. Okay. Why? Because fiat currencies are inflationary. Governments print money to cover debts, diluting your purchasing power. And in 2025, the Fed is signaling that we're going to have more rate cuts, and that quantitative easing is coming in the near future. Okay, we can see what's going over in Europe, and their rates are dropping. And generally speaking, the Fed will follow. All right. Your dollars are like ice cubes melting in the sun, and that's what we don't want. But it's not just about inflation. It's the bigger picture of what the fiat system traps us in. It's a cycle. We work, we earn, we save, we pay taxes, and we wash, repeat, and rinse. And it just keeps us on that wheel, so to speak, of not being able to get ahead. You're trading time for money that's losing value. Meanwhile, what do the ultra wealthy do? They're moving into deflationary assets like crypto. We are blessed to be into this environment and been able to front run the institutions and hold these digital assets that are absolutely going to create profit for us in the future. Enormous amounts of profit. What else do the wealthy invest in? Gold, precious minerals, real estate, businesses to create active income. That's where we're going to focus on XRP and XLM and come in. That income, that wealth that's going to be generated. These are not just any crypto coins, in my opinion. They're bridges to the new financial world. So why XRP and XLM specifically? Again, they're not random altcoins to me. They're built for real world use case problems. They're solving financial problems, and they're gaining traction each and every day. And we're going to look at some of that right now. And then we're going to build onto that foundation of how when these things skyrocket, and again, I'm shooting for late Q3, Q4, we are going to have an explosion. We're going to go into the bull run. We are still in the bull run, but the altcoin bull run. But I want to have your mind prepared now for what I am doing. This is my plan that I'm sharing. It may not work for you, but you have to develop a plan. So XRP just came out. We're going to talk about it. The SEC has approved a public launch date of April 30th for the ProShares Trust XRP ETF. This is one of many ETFs that are coming out. So it's starting, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start to see the inflows as the new SEC chair, Mr. Austin, is in. They're going to start to approve all of these ETFs in the coming months. And that's why, again, I'm eyeballing Q3, Q4 as far as big explosions that are going to be coming. But April 30th, this is the first one. Very exciting news. One of many. We know there's about 18 out there that are waiting for approval from the SEC. So we'll see what happens on the 30th. Do I expect price to automatically increase in XRP and by 100 times? Absolutely not. But over the course of the next several months, we will start to see some movement as the institutions are lining up. What else is going on for XRP? RLUSD growth, we know, is exploding. More and more volume is coming on chain each and every month. And we know that RLUSD, along with the Stablecoin Act that's being pushed through Congress, that's going to be approved by August, and the other framework regulation that is being looked at, is going to be done. The president wants it on his desk, and it looks like it's moving forward that way, definitely. So we got to look at the bigger picture and what is going on in the environment. Smoke posts this. We know behind the scenes, and now it's starting to come out, that companies have been holding XRP as in their company treasuries, their corporate treasuries. Again, signaling a major shift in how institutions are approaching these digital assets, specifically XRP. These are all telltale signs, ladies and gentlemen, of where the future is going. And we have to read the tea leaves and just be ready for the future. You are in the right place at the right time. Switching gears to XLM. Again, it is a cousin to XRP. We know that Franklin Templeton, a prominent global investment management firm, has announced their plan. They're moving $1.7 trillion of assets into blockchain technology, specifically, in this case, using XLM. Again, it's a sign of the transformation of the system that is going on. Also, we know, and we can listen to this here, that Stellar has been working with MoneyGram, and they're working on RWA tokenization. But let's listen to this quick clip about why they're working with MoneyGram and the bigger picture of what that means in the future, and why holding these assets and being patient is going to pay off big time.
One piece that was missing in blockchain and crypto, because we always said, isn't it amazing? Like blockchain and crypto, we can totally replace everything in the financial, that's in the traditional financial infrastructure, except we never figured out the on and off ramps. Right. And so this was the first time where we were so excited about creating those cash on and off ramps, which is what people who don't have bank accounts actually need. So it was great. And we've leveraged that. Now you can move money into bank accounts from them because they have those relationships already globally. So it's been a great partnership. And
again, these type of partnerships are looking at the bigger issue with the current financial system. And now they're starting to implement the on and off ramps. Okay. And as the stable coin environment builds and there's more volume there, and we have the regulation, it's moving faster and faster. That butterfly effect, flywheel effect, snowball effect, whatever you would like to call it, is happening right before our eyes. But now let's shift gears and talk about how, when these things explode, what we need to do. Again, XRP and XLM are deflationary assets, unlike the current fiat system, right? They're fixed. That's all it means. They're fixed, and there's controlled supplies, means that they can hold and gain value as the dollar weakens. We could look at the Dixie, and we know the Dixie is still down right now, which means things are getting ready to kick in from an environment of the Fed. Again, is going to drop those rates. And when they drop those rates, that capital is going to move into this environment even more so. Now, here's the kicker. Again, our crypto, at least in my philosophy and my management, is only part of the financial plan. Okay. Let's talk about building a system to maximize your profits tax-free. That is the key, and that's what we're trying to do in this game. XRP and XLM are, yes, very, very powerful, and they're going to produce massive gains in the future. But that's not the whole part of the puzzle. To escape this fiat trap and where we are in the system, you need some kind of system that grows wealth, minimizes taxes, and creates cash flow. Now, this is what I do. I invest my capital into these digital assets for growth potential because they're deflationary, backed by real world utility, ISO 222, and are poised, and it is happening, institutional adoption. We see it. Okay. The signs are there. I have multiple videos on that. But for me, I'm then diversifying into other environments. I diversify into minerals, gold, silver. I have real estate, other assets that I'm using as a hedge, if you would, and to build on top of that financial wealth that I'm accumulating. So I'm using crypto as my wealth accelerator, if you would. It's a turbocharger because it's a brand new technology and it's nascent. And I saw back years ago where this would where it was going, and so do you. But that's only part of the plan. That's not the only play for me. So again, I use dollar cost averaging, and I buy in every month into XRP, XLM, and many other utility cryptos. And I don't look at what the cost is. I just keep dollar cost averaging in. Okay. It's no different than a 401k that we do for 40 years, many of us, and we're putting into the system, and then we don't even have access to that environment. So specifically, what am I doing? I showed this a couple weeks ago. I have an asset pyramid. My capital, where I protect my capital, I put it into life insurance. Okay. It's called infinite banking. It's got a lot of other terms out there, but the bottom line, it's secure a capital that then I can use, then leverage and take loans from myself. Ladies and gentlemen, you are becoming the bank. That is what we want to become. We want to do what banks do. Okay. So I can pay the premiums on the insurance, which builds cash value that grows tax deferred at approximately 4 to 6% annually. I then borrow against this cash value tax free to invest in what? More crypto, more XRP, more XLM, or whatever other asset that I want. But here's the magic, right? When my crypto, your crypto soars, I can deposit that money that I may take off the top in my exit strategy and protect it in these environments. And that's the game for me. Okay. You have to define specifically how you're going to utilize this new environment. Now, there are other plays in here that are going to be coming into the future. I know many of you probably listen to Alan Staple, and he's talking a lot about in-kind ETFs that are coming. We just talked about the first ETF that is coming out. More and more will be coming out. So that is going to be another play, yes, to where we can take our XRP, put it into an ETF, in-kind ETF, meaning that we're able to get those assets back if we want to exit the ETF, but those ETFs are going to also be able to produce what? Passive income, 5-10% income each month. What I'm going to do is take that passive income and roll it right back into my life insurance again. And then from the life insurance, I'm going to take a loan and put it back into real estate or businesses that I'm purchasing. Again, this is the game, and this is how the wealthy stay wealthy. But we have to have that system. You want to create active cash flow, and that's the key with these ETFs as we start to go into them, because they're going to produce monthly cash flow. That's what we need. We need to be able to live still. It's not about Lambos for me. It's about generational wealth and securing capital. And that's what the picture that I'm trying to build and for you to visualize. Your system may look slightly different, and that's okay. But the key is now is the time to build it. So quick reality check. We know crypto is very volatile. Now, in the future, will it stabilize a little bit because the institutions are coming on board? I believe so. I don't know when that's going to happen, but so XRP and XLM, we know, can drop very, very quick. But that's why I'm non-emotional and I don't pay attention to the markets on a daily basis. I have a long-term plan that we're executing here. So there's regulatory risks, yep, like the SEC. We still know we're trying to finish the case with XRP, dot the I's, cross the T's. I foresee that coming out very, very shortly. But basically, this system here, this assets pyramid, it requires discipline to manage and execute, as does the ETF environment. You have to take control of your money and leverage it accordingly and create that velocity is what we're trying to do. I want to use my dollars as many times, that same dollar as many times as possible. Now, again, I'm sharing what I'm doing. I'd be curious to know what you're doing, but the bottom line is start small, learn the ropes of how these things work, and build your system step by step. Because the goal, again, is to maintain the wealth, not to become rich one day and then lose it 2 years from now. And freedom from the fiat system is what I am shooting for. Again, I'm not gambling and just throwing my money on the next big thing. I have a step-by-step wealth system through years of learning, through listening to other smart people and watching what the wealthy do, because we know the system is being modernized, okay? And we're going to take full advantage of that so that that wealth becomes generational wealth for our families in the future. I hope this stuff makes sense, and I'm going to keep on talking about it. And again, it's just a system of systems. Yours could look slightly different, but the goal is to dream big, visualize, and think about how you're going to secure your capital. And yes, speculatively, we're looking into the future of certain things like ETFs that are going to be coming to us. And let's not forget, there's going to be other passive income plays like DeFi. Through Flare Finance, we're going to be able to stake our XRP. And that's coming very shortly as well. And I'll do more videos on that as that information comes out. I'm going to be testing that before I throw it out on the interwebs here. But these are practical things that I'm doing. I can't talk about things that I don't do because I don't understand them, but I am curious to know exactly what you guys are doing and what your plans are, because maybe you have an idea that I haven't thought about. And that's what this community is about. It's about learning from a baseline, different ideas and thoughts of how to protect and become wealthy in the very, very near future. Okay, so we want to avoid taxes and we want to secure our wealth. That is the baseline, that's the foundation, and that's what this pyramid really does here. So again, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you understand it. I hope it's coming through loud and clear. And again, this is what Zip is doing. I'd be curious about what you're doing. Drop it in the comments and let me know. And until next time, be safe, be non-emotional, and build a strategic plan for your family's future. With that, Zip is out.